say, isn't it great that here on the internet you can learn about anything and anyone you've always wanted to know about? And I am sure that there is even a video out there somewhere that teaches you how to perform your own open heart surgery. But instead of doing any one of those great things, the lads and I are grateful that you have instead chosen to spend time with us here at Das Hobby House. Do you like stuff for free? I'm not talking about the stuff you find on the side of the road on Hard Rubbish Day. I'm talking about new things. Well, stick around to the end of the episode and you find out how you can get yourself some free stuff. G'day guys and welcome to another episode of Das Hobby House. I'm Greg.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Akwan.
And Happy New Year to everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you guys.
What's going on?
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
You know, just the usual family, then family, her family,
Food.
my
More
family,
Food.
Yeah, you know, it's same.
Well, you know, Filipino food. I mean,
Yeah.
my body's still processing all that.
Mate, your body's been
lechon
processing
and-
the last 20 years worth.
That's not the point.
For about 4 days straight, I've just been eating.
Right?
Yeah, from Christmas to New Year's, nothing but...
Has any of what you've been consuming healthy?
Yeah, some of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're not friends
pizza,
anymore.
KFC,
Okay, good.
McDonald's.
And
yeah,
we're back.
Been healthy,
And
really
we're back as
healthy.
friends. Healthy amounts of
Almost
salt.
thought we had to get rid of you.
No,
For a second there, I thought we were going to put up an ad for another person to sit on that chair over
We
there.
need new friend.
Yeah.
Job vacancy right there. And you, Aqua, how have you been?
Look,
You went somewhere before Christmas.
I did. I went to Malaysia.
You did like the whole overseas thing.
Yeah, I flew the sea.
And you came back, you didn't die?
Yeah, it was, look,
No spicy blend?
no spicy, no nothing. It's pretty good.
Wow.
Malaysia's like, it's like they built a new city on top of an old city, but then they didn't take care of the old city anymore. But it's cool. It's a cool place.
Pretty.
Yeah?
They have a lot
Was
of
it pretty hot?
Oh, yeah, it was like here, we're having 30-degree days here,
Oh,
except
it's-
theirs is humid.
Yuck right now.
Well, I hate, people are like, oh, I love humid. It's like, do you like feeling sweaty all the time? Like, there's a difference to feeling sweaty and like just
Yeah.
Moist.
moist.
All the time.
And it's like, I don't understand. Look, there's some people are cooked, but whatever.
It's one of those things where you take a shower and as soon as you get out, you're sweaty again, isn't it?
Yeah. But
Very
it's like,
topical.
what, you have the aircon on at the hotel and you can, some days you don't really, you just open up the doors and stuff, but it's just like,
Leave the hotel though?
yeah,
Do we
like,
need to?
because what, we were there for a friend's wedding, so it wasn't like it was a place that's been on my list. It's like, oh, I gotta go see this, go see that. So we saw the thing, we saw like peddling the street markets there. We walked through the city. It's kind of a small city, but yeah, you walk around it and you're like, oh, cool, man. That's 7-Eleven. They're really big into Milo over there, though. Like,
Milo.
I was looking around. I'm like, there's
Milo's
Milo.
fantastic.
Yeah, but oh, dude, I love cold milk.
Cold-
you pour that
yeah,
in
cold
first, and then
Milo.
you get like 10 scoops of Milo in there, and you stir that, and then you eat the stuff off the top, and then you drink the rest, and creme de la creme.
There you go,
beverages.
guys. Cold Milo.
Milo
Yeah.
versus Ovaltine, or is there
What?
even a competition?
No, that's not a competition.
That's like
'cause Milo's
Transformers
in it.
versus Micro Machines or whatever it was.
Micro Machines. Yeah, Transformers wins.
Oh, every single time.
Micro Machine. Yeah, but yeah, Malaysia is definitely hot.
Did you eat anything healthy over there?
We had
And some
Macca's quite a
next-
few times because
Oh,
we had
boy.
to engage in the culture. They have
I'm so
chicken
proud
over
of you.
there with their rice, and the spicy chicken's nice.
You're talking to a
At
filler.
Macca's. Yeah, I know.
I have everything with rice.
Yeah, look, no, but that's the thing.
We
Because
have rice with rice.
Yeah,
Right.
because what we're getting there, and it's like, to a point, it's like, what do you want? Rice with a side of what? Or noodles with a side of what, you know? So your variety,
Yeah.
it's like,
Did you acquire any new words over there?
I learnt, I think it's ikan, or something like that, is fish. Because she doesn't like fish and seafood, so I was like, stay away from that.
Okay,
It's
so
probably not ikan.
no
I think
ikan.
they've changed it. Could be. I don't know. I don't think they changed it. I just didn't remember it. But, you know, you have like ayam is chicken, goreng, noodles.
Yum.
Like nasi goreng,
Yeah,
mee
nasi.
goreng.
Mee goreng.
Yeah, but I think nazi's spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I was like looking at the signs. I'm like, oh, look. Fried rice, more spicy fried rice, spicy rice, chicken with...
Spam?
No, didn't see.
Moving on. What have we got here today?
Okay, so today we're going to do something a little different, lads. Today we're going to put ourselves back to like as if we know nothing about models. Today's going to be brand new. Well, that's okay. We don't judge.
Back to being a noob.
Back to basic. Basic.
So, what are we got on the table today, guys?
This is all the tools you need to start scale modeling, I guess.
Right. So basically, we've got your personal stash over there of like what you start with. I've got Aqua's stash over here, and basically my stash of like what you consider like to be, if you were to take your little workbench and start off brand new, what would be the way to go? First bit of kit.
I mean, every model has styrene sprues, right? So you've got to cut them. So you start off with these, right? These are styrene cutters.
Oh, wow, you got leather.
Fancy man.
Yeah, fancy leather cover. So this is what you'll need to actually cut the sprue off the sprue tree. This one's from SMS, which you can get here at Andrew's Hobbies. And these are side cutters, as you can see.
Flat on one side?
Yeah, they're flat on one side. It just gives you that, I'm not going to cut my finger, but gives you that
Go on, then.
edge.
Where's your commitment?
Go on then.
Come on.
Go on, commit.
Come on, do it.
So this is what I've been using so far. It's the SMS ones. They're pretty good. They're side cutters. And some of them are flat on one surface and the blades on the top, but these two have, this one has blades that actually cut.
Right.
Pretty good.
When I first started, I was a simple man and used those retractable blades, like box cutter.
Box cutter.
I just cut with that and then parts were gone. So you have to hold on to it and then cut it off. Yeah, and then I moved on to a scalpel. And then I eventually moved on to just wire cutters that you gave me until I eventually got side cutters.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually saw someone on YouTube use nail cutters.
You can.
Toenail cutters.
Yeah. You can use that if you
That'd be a very close cut. That'd be nice.
I've never thought about it. I've never thought about using it because that'd be weird. But
why? Who's gonna if you tell me, I can judge you if you want, but
you judge me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some angles that you can use the nail cutter.
I suppose a curve would come in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what? Because I cut close to the piece. I see some people cut on the other side of the part of the sprue that connects to it. The spoo. And then the spoo, and then they cut that part off and then they sand that. But I cut right up next to the piece, and then so I have less to sand.
Right.
Well, that's how I do. I don't know if it's wrong, but whatever. That's cool.
I think when I first started, these weren't even around. I think I just went straight from your blades to so basically just starting with the blades. I think I used scissors at one point, and that didn't do anything for me at all.
No,
I was
that'd
young.
be horrible.
I was young, so I think eventually now we've been blessed with YouTube videos. Hey, we actually learn from what other people are doing, rather than trying to just make stuff up as you go. So what else do you need? What's your recommendation for a startup kit?
You'd probably need to use glue.
Right.
So there are different types of glue. You've got your extra thin, which is very, very thin. And what this does is it actually goes into the crevices. So it's a capillary action, which means you put a bit of a drop and it runs along the seam line. Yep. And it fuses it together. You can get this one from Tamiya, and there's another one from SMS as well. They do the same thing. They do it's like a seam
hot
welding.
melt.
Yeah. So yeah,
Bit of hot melt action.
And then it gets real messy.
There's also CA glue as well.
Yes. This or just regular. This is a bit of the fancy ones you can buy at a hobby shop, or you can just buy at a regular petrol station. Or
but that one I got from Bunnings. But that one has little drops. It'll bead into a little drop when you
is that
squeeze
gel
it.
or is that the liquid?
It's like a gel-ish, I think. I like because it's just a little drop.
Yeah.
And you get good control over it instead of just making a mess everywhere, because super glue's not.
Yeah.
Especially when you deal with PE parts.
I think when I first started, I had the one that looks like toothpaste. It's similar to. It came in something like that. This is putty, to me a putty, but the glue that back then was like that. So you'd never be able to get like a precision amount. Like you try and press it a little bit, but the moment you take off the cap, it just all comes out.
Yeah, but what? I remember that's how I started off with those, and then I would squeeze the whole thing because the packaging was terrible, and there'd always be a hole, and it was so I just poured it into like a tiny little container and then use a toothpick to dip, and then turns out I just kept having to get new things all the time because it would just always dry out until I discovered that super glue came in like other forms of packaging.
Okay.
And made my life easier.
There's also the Revell contactor with
that's
the
a good one.
long metal nose.
Yeah, and then you have to do like the whole burn the end thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have that, but it didn't stick as good as the Tamiya.
Really?
For larger surfaces.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, at least maybe I was a noob. I was probably doing it wrong, but so I don't use it anymore. I just go straight to the Tamiya and use the brush.
Yeah, but I think once you discover this stuff, it's just amazing.
Once you go to there, you can't go back.
You can't go back.
The capillary reactions are such a neater way to fuse styrene together.
But then what? I've got a Tamiya jar and I put SMS in it a while back, and it's all the same.
Well, the brush is actually
because I like the brush. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I had a different bottle at the time. I see they have a new bottle, but I haven't tried it out.
Okay.
But
actually, now SMS comes with a bottle just like the Tamiya. It's got its own brush. So
is the brush just as good?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hey.
It's actually long and thin.
You're right.
So you can get to really tight areas.
And it's Australian.
And it's Australian made too.
It is Australian. Yeah, correct. I've actually got, this is a bottle of Tamiya extra thin. The bottle is anyway. The actual inside is Tamiya airbrush cleaner.
Okay.
That I use for non-essential things like like interior bits or something like that. Like for other stuff that I really trust, I still use a good old trusty Tamiya. But for stuff that doesn't really matter per se, I could just save a wee bit, because it does get pretty costly.
It does.
And just grab myself and just use that.
Because what, you get like 3-4 kits maybe out of a bottle?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I see you have a variety of the, what are they called? Tweezers. I also have a variety of tweezers.
Yeah, so obviously with scale modeling, you're going to have small pieces. So get yourself a tweezer, because these things will allow you to pick up, small objects and to be able to put them on certain things. There is a couple of tweezers that I recommend. One is the one that actually...
A reverse one.
Yeah, it's a reverse one, so you don't have to constantly put pressure on it. These are good for, if you're painting something, you just... I'll give you an example. Like, you can just hold that like that, and you don't have to actually constantly put pressure on it. And you can just paint or spray or whatever. But yeah, as time went by, I started using these, which are much finer, because once you start doing models that have more pieces, you're going to start to need these ones for the smaller ones.
But then also having the curve is nice. I found there's a big difference between the ones that do and don't. Like, you can actually see what you're doing.
That's right.
These ones are straight on ones.
Yeah, just compared to the straighter ones. Yeah. But then I've got a little one there in the middle. There's a little tweezer.
This one?
Nah, it's that little one.
Yep.
That little guy.
Also, it's got everything. It's got the curve and the reverse.
It's the reverse curve, but also teeny tiny. When you have like tiny baby tiny pieces, comes in handy.
Almost surgical, that one.
Yeah. Because I got a bigger one there as well, but like sometimes the piece is just too tiny, because that's what we pay for.
That's a thick tip.
It's good. Yeah. Oh, look, I've lost some pieces on that because it's got a good amount of good strength, more than I probably would have put. Like, you're squeezing to let go, because it's just so tight compared to holding onto these guys. But when I first started, I just used the ones that came in like the nail file kits. It comes with the clippers and all that, and it had like the flat edge on it, and I was using that for a while until I bothered to go shopping.
Yeah, many of my wife's tweezers.
Yeah, but turns out Daiso
have gone missing.
That's the place to go.
Yes,
$2 like 80. I think they're not that cheap anymore, but still crazy cheap. Yeah,
little ones. Daiso's the best.
Yeah, look, that's a lot cheaper than
lollies.
$10. Because those mini reversible ones, the mini ones, that's SMS, and I think that was like 10. But it's reversible, whereas others sell non-reversible for like a lot of money. And then there's Daiso.
Okay, so other than that, tools, cutters, files.
Yep, you can use files as well.
Files, and so you can get these ones from Bunnings for a set. You don't use the square ones that are round. Well, the round ones come in handy, but I think you can get like 3 ones out of that pack that you could actually use that are actually
but it's a cheap pack. It's like $5-10.
Yeah,
and you get a stack of files.
Something like that. But you could also get these.
Yeah, but before I moved on to the sanding sticks, I had one of those files that you gave me, and it was like had a triangle edge to it. So it did almost everything. You could sand flat, and you can do corners.
Yep.
And it was fine for the longest time until I actually started to care about sanding
properly.
All the seam lines and everything, and then I moved on to sanding sticks.
You can also get these sanding sponges, which are very flexible. This one's a 3000 grit, so if you're doing some fine work and you want to make the surface really smooth, you can also use these ones as well. Very fine, and because it's maneuverable. You can shape it to whatever shape you want.
Fuselages.
Yeah, because
Cannons.
unlike these ones, well, this one's actually got some sort of padding on it. Once you start sanding a fuselage, you're going to get a flat plane.
Yeah.
Whereas these ones, you can actually retain the shape of the actual fuselage because it's, you can curve it.
So wing edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look,
Gun
I
barrels.
just started turning the pieces.
Mm.
I would hold the sanding stick and then sand, like, move the piece to
As
sand.
you're sanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how I do, like, gun barrels and any curves and stuff like that.
Mm.
See, but what? You've got those skinny strip ones. You got one of those.
Yep.
We got a couple of them around. They're good as well.
Yeah, they're
very
pretty good. Yeah.
because they bend and they're small enough to get to small pieces and small places. Because some kits are just like, hey, sand that thing on the inside.
Mm.
Those sanding sponges, like where did you get that set from?
I got this one from B&A, but I think they've got them here at Andrew's Hobbies as well.
Right.
I'm not sure what grit they have, but yeah, they do stock them here. So if you guys want to have a look at their range, they've got some sanding sponges downstairs.
Okay.
Mm.
See, but as far as other tools on here go, what we've got, look, got a scalpel. I'll give you a pro tip. Put blue tack at the end of your scalpel, so you can just. It's not gonna roll. It's not gonna fall off your foot, Jeff. It's not gonna fall off your table, Jeff, and stab you in the foot, is it?
No, it's not going to stab me on the foot or the leg.
No.
Which has happened to me before.
So yeah, just a cheeky bit of blue tack at the end, and you're good.
Blue tack, I think, is the number one pro tip.
Yeah, but like, don't leave it this way, especially without a lid.
So what do you use a scalpel for?
Well, these days, for a time I was using it to cut pieces before I moved on to snips, but then I was using it to remove seams.
Yep.
But then now they got like a little seam scraper thingy that just cuts really nicely, real smooth, and it's got like the beveled edge and all that.
Right.
I got it's in the box, but same, but it's like a different tip, and you can use the same whatever this is, like
handle,
the same handle, and you just swap pieces out, and yeah, use that to scrape instead of this, because this would actually dig in, it would catch. Whereas the other one just glides like.
I think you're talking about the SMS ceramic scraper, seam scraper.
The seam
That's
scraper.
pretty good.
Yeah,
that's really good. There are some parts that have a seam mold line, and it's a positive line, and you get the ceramic scraper, and it just gets rid of it ever so slightly. Whereas if you use the scalpel, you've got to be very careful, or else you'll start scraping the actual styrene
and
itself.
Start removing proper bits of plastic away.
Yeah. But I also use a scalpel for cleaning up the tabs. Once you start cutting them, right, you're going to have these little tabs where you've just cut them from. So I sort of, use a scalpel to clean them up before I start sanding them, because you don't want to be sanding them straight away, or else you'll be there forever. So
no, you just go with the rougher grit and then work your way down. You just remove
do that
a
as
lot
well.
of plastic off of it.
These are pretty good. These actual sanding sticks. They do have,
over time they get flex. They get a lot of flex over time, and then they get worn down, and then you can get you really fine.
So basically, anything with
grit.
foam in the middle, that'll accept the curve.
Yeah, it will.
Right.
Over time, because those ones are brand new, but I got the ones that are worn out. Except I find with these
I got many.
All like the actual sandpaper paper, it starts to come off.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, well, all right, cool, man. That's great.
Now it's like a 7,000 grit.
7,000, yeah, that's why, that's why I don't buy 7,000. I have
basically A4 printed paper now.
Yeah, so that's how all the other ones turn out, until you're like, oh, I actually need something that's going to remove. But then I guess I just go back to the metal file, because that proper removes plastic when I need it to.
Yep.
And then moving on, now you go to paint.
Ooh, now this is the controversial bit.
Because
this is like enamels versus acrylics,
but it depends. I don't know if it's like, it's not very controversial if you don't have money. Then it's a very simple answer.
This guy.
if you don't have money, just go for a can. Just rattle can the thing.
Yeah.
And
so starting off, basically,
if you're starting off,
as we are, because
or if you're lazy, I did that one time. I just rattle can things. I couldn't be bothered, and I was like, you know what? It just needs to be painted. This will paint it. It'll do the job.
I mean, sorry, Jeff. Even with rattle cans, you can actually decant into an airbrush as well, as you've done in the past as well.
I've actually used these rattle cans before, and they're pretty good. They will cover really well. But yeah, if you want to be a little bit more finer, you can decant it, which means taking the actual liquid out of this can and putting it in your airbrush.
Right.
But yeah, you can airbrush it that way as well. But no problems using these as paint.
Oh, the Sherman. That's how I did the Sherman.
Yeah.
Because it was just one color. I was like, I'm not whipping out
Got
the
it.
airbrush for this. I'm just rattle
US
canning.
armor.
Yeah, it was easy done. And I think I did the same thing for the Challenger. Pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I'd do. Yeah, I just black first and then went over it so I get the bold colors, you know.
So I think
The
starting
bold
off, that's what you really need.
Yeah.
Choose a P51 Mustang or a P47 or something
Any
silver.
tank.
Or yeah,
Or a
Or a
tank, yeah.
car. Any
Yeah.
car. Oh, well, you got interiors.
Well,
'Cause-
German armor, you've got Panzer Grey,
Yeah.
one color.
And
Then
then
German yellow,
yeah.
Dunkelgelb, that's another one color.
Yeah. And then that's about it, really,
Russian.
unless you wanted to do camos.
Green, American.
Yeah, but then
olive
say if I did a rattle can base and then I wanted to go do camo.
with the camo, yay!
yeah.
Or
Oh,
you
no,
could use sticky tape as well, which we
Yeah.
don't have here.
we don't. Oh, it's in
Masking tape.
Oh.
Masking tape, yeah, Tamiya tape, yeah,
Oh,
just if you want
so-
to do camo.
Or again, blue tack.
Yeah, but what? Because look, I've tried the blue tack method for planes, and then like sticking newspaper, but then the edge isn't very fine, and then you go back and you have to do it with tape, or I've just done it wrong. Both are possible. Otherwise, you have tape. You have regular like Tamiya tape, which is like pretty much masking tape, but it comes in different thicknesses. And then they have Tamiya, but it's like a flex tape, and that thing you can just wind whatever, and you can make all your
You got a
curves
really
and camo.
thin 1 millimeter
Yeah,
one.
but it's a white one that you can
Yeah.
wind.
It's flexible,
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
and you can create winding patterns on it just for camouflage.
But then you still have to do like, well, at least the way I did was I'd do that and then put blue tack following that line and then stick paper on top of that blue tack to mask areas off when I was doing a Phantom back in the day, which was a lot of effort. Yeah, the Australian one, yeah. Because
That actually turned out quite well.
yeah, well, look, I missed it a couple of times. I had to pre-shade and post-shade and post-shade again because I had to fix up the lines. It was great. The thing's got a lot of paint on it. And then say you're like, you know what? No rattle cans for me. I'm moving on. I'm spending the dosh. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna invest. I'm gonna get an airbrush.
The air compressor, I think, is the most expensive bit.
$100.
Yeah. But then you can go on eBay and get the ones where it comes with the air compressor and an airbrush.
Yeah,
About $100.
yeah. And then it's just all in one, easy done.
The one that has a little cylinder at the bottom.
Yeah,
That's a new bit of technology. So I can get
Yeah.
behind.
Which one? With a little.
Yeah, it comes with its own little compressor thingy, little motor.
and it's an all-in-one package. You
Oh,
don't
wow.
have to do anything. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's just bam.
It's
and you're
weird.
done.
That's pretty good. I've never seen that one before, but
Yeah.
Okay, well, challenge accepted. Might have to get one for Das Hobbyist and do like a live demonstration.
Oh yeah, because like what? Otherwise, we get like the other compressor. I got the little one. I had one. I bought it from Aldi, and then he died on me, and then got another one, but it had a tank at the bottom,
Yeah.
so you didn't just have this thing ticking all the time. And then you can chuck that anywhere, just right now, and you wouldn't even know if it's on. And it's great. And if you wanted to paint with an airbrush, I personally go for acrylic because to me, it was super easy. But then look, I did the old thin it in the paint pot. Turns out the thinner would evaporate and then you have to just thin it in the airbrush. So now I just thin it straight in the airbrush. It's not that it's easier. It's just, it's the way it works.
Or thin it with rubbing alcohol or IPA.
Yeah, you can thin it with almost any. Yeah, but what? You had a time when you were thinning with Windex, but everything would just scratch off.
Yeah, scratch off easy. Maybe I put too much Windex in. And I think that was early on when I found out, like, those YouTube videos. I thought, I'm going to try this.
And you tried it. And
I tried it. I was like, no, scratch off.
Do you
Yeah,
guys?
because you would keep complaining. It's like, hey, all my planes are scratching off. What's going on? I don't understand. Why does nothing work?
Yeah.
Do you guys use primers?
Stuff. Mr.
Wow.
Surface.
Yeah,
Primer with
I
black.
normally primer models. It's just a way for the actual paint to adhere a lot better. I find that if I just spray the color straight, there's a chance that the paints just scratch off or peel off. But if I put primer on it, there's a less chance of that happening. But I use the Mr. Surfacer primer.
Right.
I've used the SMS primer. They function just as well as each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good for black aircraft as well because it lies
Does it
down
have grain?
so flat.
Does it have? Is it gritty? Is it
No,
grainy?
it's actually quite smooth. It's really good.
All right.
Because I've used the Mr. Surfacer 1500 and all
Which
that.
is that one? Yeah.
But I think I've used it on tanks to get like the iron casting look, to get like the bumps and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of grain.
Yeah, there's a little, like, you can spray it on thick, and then there's others that aren't so fine. And you spray that, I think there's like a 500.
Yeah.
Ah, right.
Yeah. To give texture.
I was today years old when I found out. Is 1500 the actual indication as to how gritty or not gritty it is?
It also thins pretty well, right? So you can thin it as much as you want, and it'll be fine.
This guy.
Yeah. Or you can leave it thick, and it'll have that a splurting effect. It gives you that texture.
Right.
But it does, but it does go down really well on styrene or plastic. Yeah. It's my go-to primer now. That Mr. Surfacer Black.
The black tin.
See, but then after that, what, you're going into acrylics, enamels, or?
I don't use acrylics anymore. I just use the lacquers.
Right.
Only because shake and bake. You just shake the bottle and pour it in the airbrush, and that's it. You're set. No more mixing with thinners or anything like that.
But then word to the wise is ventilation and a mask and
do it outside.
Do it outside.
It also depends on where you are. If you're airbrushing in your room,
Also with the rattle cans.
yeah, probably wouldn't recommend it because lacquers do have certain fumes that are not good for you. So if you're doing it outside or you've got a spray booth, by all means, great. But if you're in a room, I'd probably not use it.
Yep.
I'd go with these Tamiya ones.
Right.
As far as painting goes, choose your poison. Some will have better results.
Yep. Most
but
definitely.
if you're a person who's like, you know what, doesn't matter, I just need it painted.
Yeah.
I would recommend acrylic. I wanted to do those SMS ones for a tank because it's 2 colors. Because working on the Phantom, there's like 12, 13 colors to that. And then if I wanted to be like, you know what, we're going to do the Phantom with the lacquers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big bill. That's more than the kit.
Yeah.
That's twice as much as the kit. That's 3 times as much as the kit cost just to paint the kit, compared to my pre-existing stash of Tamiya paints that I've built up over the years. So, I think for me, that's why I'll probably stay with Tamiyas for a while, because it's just like, well, I've already invested into it compared to switching camps. Unless I was doing like a tank, because then it's like 1 or 2 colors.
The best.
Yeah,
It really is the best.
For me, it's like a financial thing. But then, you know.
But also, it also is one of those things where it's how like religious are you when it comes to has to be the right shade of grey. Like with the Phantoms, U.S. Navy Vietnam War era ish. It's got I think it's number 308 in this color.
Yeah.
Like I would look at that and I'd, tip over all the Tamiyas going, oh, it's pretty close. That'll do. Like I think I use light sea grey and maybe mix in a bit of white and a bit of another grey to make it kind of the same. Like how regimented are you in that it has to be this?
Not too regimented. I mean, there are codes for aircraft colors, right? Like FS, whatever. And SMS has some FS colors. So whatever FS...
Federal standard?
Federal standard, yeah. Whatever's needed, I'll just go and grab that. And that's it for me.
Yeah, but there's an app now, and it's great. It's a color conversion, and you type in, what are you converting from and what are you converting into? And then it has like a 5-star system to see how accurate it is. And it's great. And then I'll be like, what color is this? What do I need? And then...
Yep.
But, look, I find that Mr. Color has a greater range compared to Tamiya.
Definitely.
So it's like it's a lot easier to be far more specific with the colors that I need, instead of just the same 3 grays.
Yeah.
Or like this German yellow and all that. It's like
definitely
I have the options, but do I care? I'm starting to a degree. I'm starting to buy more of the Mr. Color ones for things. Also because the instructions just tell me which colors to get, and they're all in Mr. Color, and I can't be bothered translating it into Tamiya. And also because they cost about the same.
There was a over at Battlefield Hobbies.
Good old Battlefield.
Oh, still. I mean, it's basically where we met. It's where it's what took us down this path of this addiction. But basically, when Academy brought out their new range of Phantoms, and they were all that same grey, there was a drought of Mr. Hobby 308, which is that grey. And every time I go to Battlefields, if I have some loose change, I will buy another one of these or 3, black, white.
You mean the
grey?
To me, extra thin.
Extra thin, yeah. So, or 3 paints, or maybe three brushes,
Mm.
just to round it off. So I've got like a whole stash of, I think I've got 70 odd little jars of paints.
I did that for
Just
the
in case.
Phantom. I was like, I need black. I'm like, am I out of black? I think I'm out of black. And then I go home and I'm like, yep, empty. Oh, I have 2 that are full.
Then you
Now I have
like
3.
Flat black, NATO black,
Yeah, well,
rubber
most
black.
of the look, I was doing bases of a NATO black for a long time instead of the flat black because it's just I had so many because I kept buying it.
Yeah.
And now I'm out of NATO black, but I have plenty of flat blacks, and I haven't had to use NATO since for a while. And same with rubber black. I just run out of
Rubber
that, though.
tire.
Yeah.
Rubber tie, yeah.
Oh well, then I got that
Rubbery.
as well because I was like, well, I have rubber black, but then they're like, oh, Mr. Hobby rubber tire, and I get that, and I'm like, well, not too different, are ya?
Nah.
So I was like, but cool, man, I have more.
And then you throw on all that weathering and all that mud, and it's like, what's
Yeah,
the
but
real
look,
point?
then I had white. I get Tamiya white, but then Tamiya white doesn't go down as nicely as all their other colors. So now I have the Mr. Color white. I haven't tried it yet, but now I've got like 2 of those because I thought I didn't have it, and then I got it again.
I reckon it's a good white. Mr. Hobby, I think it's called chalk face.
You're right. Yeah, but white's one of those stupid colors where it's like
Yeah, it is.
white, eggshell white,
Yeah,
creme.
it really,
Off-white.
really is weird.
Like
Like you put
a-
it down on something, it's like,
Yeah.
can't be that white in real life.
Well, maybe it started that way.
Yeah, it started off that way.
They probably got their. I don't know if all the militaries are like, that's too white. I like a eggshell. I like a creme. I like.
Mother of pearl.
I like
It's
plus
too white.
plus red. Yeah.
Mm.
Look, but then you get into weathering.
Weathering products.
We don't have everything today for
No,
weathering on the
that's-
table.
That is a very, very slippery slope.
It's
Yeah.
That's where it's a downward spiral. You
Look,
go-
just don't weather, and you never go down that hill.
at least panel line.
If you feel
Panel
so
line?
compelled to.
There's Tamiya panel
Yeah,
line.
but then look, you've got Tamiya panel line. Comes
make
in
your
brown
own.
and black. You can make your own using oils,
Yeah.
and then you put thinner. If you're going to do thinners, get the odorless matte effect thinner.
You got that odorless.
Well,
Is that it?
Mm.
Yeah, odorless thinner. There it
yeah,
is.
the odorless thinner
From
because
Abtalung.
Abtalung.
Yeah.
Well, they have that and they have a matte because that one will go down shiny.
Mm.
And then you're trying to look at what you've done and you're like, I don't know. It's easy if you just get the matte one because it dries matte.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to look at.
Or terps.
Or terps.
Or lighter fluid.
Yeah. It's just so much.
There really is.
You don't actually have to pay a lot for it.
It's well, like we had David Horrigan come on, and he basically said like some projects you'll need the good stuff,
Yeah.
but I think if it's just like maybe a mojo build where
Well, none of us are getting paid to do anything, so
yet.
Yet.
So starting off, we basically walk into Andrew's.
Mm.
We basically said, okay, look, we've got $100 worth of Christmas money, which I think maybe hopefully some of us would have had.
Mm.
I like modeling. What can I get into with as minimum amount of layout as we can go?
Well, you would need a
Kit.
Yeah.
kit is a good place to start.
Yeah.
And then to build said kit, you need get a pair of snips.
Yep. Snips.
Get tweezer.
Mm-hmm.
Tweezer.
Glue?
Borrow from my mum.
Yeah, glue
Yep.
Glue.
and some sanding sticks.
Sanding sticks. Okay, so cheap wise, sanding sticks we could narrow it down to files from the chemist.
Yeah,
Or Coles.
It's like $3 from Coles.
Mm.
Tweezers you could borrow from your mum,
Yeah,
girlfriend dash wife,
Yep.
or you might have it in your stash.
you might if
I'm
you
not
take
judging.
care of yourself, you might.
You know,
Well,
clearly not me.
otherwise, look, just get a 2-pack, one for you, one for your kit.
Aw.
Yeah.
So let's say you walked in, Jeff. What do you got over there?
We've got this Douglas C47 Skytrain. It's only $20. It's all what scale is it? 1/100. It's got the basic colors: olive drab and grey.
Okay.
So with a bit of masking tape, you can use olive drab for the top
Top
bit
surface. Yep.
and use this type of grey for the bottom surface. And that's all you'd probably
That
need.
sounds tough, man.
Mm.
That sounds real tough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you obviously need to get like black for the tires and the
Yeah.
silver and
Yep.
other little things, little bits and that.
Mm.
But pretty much that whole set there.
Yep.
Plus glue, plus the basic stuff. You probably squeeze that into 100.
Yeah.
Easily.
That's probably enough to get you started.
Get you started,
build
but
your
it'll
basic
also
kit.
yeah. So and all the stuff that you use, though you don't use past that kit, you could use the next kit.
Yeah, but what? Half this stuff's just a one-time cost anyway.
Yeah, you'll be using all these over and over again, so
Yeah,
it's just
So
a one-time
look,
cost.
the
No, you're
more
right.
kits you buy, the more value for money all your tools are.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
So think about it. Eventually, it'll only cost you like 0.5% to use all your tools with this kit.
Yeah.
So it's only expensive the first time, and then it's expensive later, but not because of the tools, but because of the kits. See, so
Yeah.
or if you have self-determination and self-control
Nope.
to only build and or
Nope.
only buy a kit once you've built your kit, you are a better person than everybody else in this hobby. And yeah,
Well, at
good
least
for
at
you.
this table.
At least at this table, the bar. Yeah, look. Yeah, so look, you just get your first kit, and you're like, I spent $100. Cool. You build it, you paint it, you finish it, you buy another kit for pretty cheap, and get some more cans, and then you're only spending like maybe $40. And then, but the thing is, if you don't use a whole can, like say tanks a great example. You build one German tank, rattle can that.
Yep.
And then you build another German tank, and you get to use the same rattle can.
But you don't actually have to finish a kit to buy a new one. I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, well, look, your friend has a problem.
Yeah.
He's got issues, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
Does he have a back-in-the-box issue?
Does
Your
he-
friend? Your specific friend?
Does he just tap out and give up and try again? But try again is
I'll
like
ask
a loose
him.
term. For
I'll
like,
ask him.
We'll ask that specific person.
Yeah, you
I'll
should
ask.
your friend and tell him, hey man,
Just get good and finish something.
get your life in order, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I used SMS lacquers because they're pretty easy to use. Love them. They adhere pretty well.
Yeah.
Just shake them, pour it in the airbrush, and spray. You guys are using Tamiya acrylics.
Mhm.
What sort of thinners do you guys use?
I just use APA. IPA? Isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, IPA.
I use this guy. To me, a thinner
Okay.
X20A
Mm.
Liver
because it
stuff.
comes. Yeah, look, it works. It just works.
Like, are you militant with the mixtures? Like, is it like
look.
3 drops, 2 drops?
Nah,
3
not at
drops?
all. Not at all. Good
It's like,
lord,
bleh,
not
bleh.
at all.
Oh, whatever.
So here we go. I got my airbrush here. All right, you ready? Here's how I go. I'll pour my paint in straight from the jar.
Ooh.
I've seen some people that use the whole toothpick and run it down, but I never remember to do that when I'm painting. I only
Nope.
remember to do it once I see someone else do it. So I'll go from the jar, I'll tip her in like that, bam, it's wipe any spillage if there's any, and then I'll get this guy, and then I do the exact same thing. I just pour it in there, and then I go to the back of my spray booth, put my finger at the end,
Yes, sir.
pull back,
Bubbles
ding
up, doesn't
dings,
it? Yeah.
it bubbles up. There used to there is a lid, but I was like, that doesn't
Ah.
work. And then I just let it bubble up, and it'll just make a mess. And so I never wear sleeves.
Let's put your thumb there.
What, over the top?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I used to do that for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wearing gloves anyway. Just-
Yeah, what? Well, I don't, but whatever.
Do you have a special ratio that you use?
No.
No?
No. I just pour it in until like I eyeball it. So like I'll fill this thing up to a
Mark
quarter
one
with paint,
eyeball.
and then just like a little, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, just a bit.
Can I
feel it.
add to that
Go for
recipe?
it.
I'd put the thinner in first
Oh,
and then the paint, because sometimes when you put the
Mm-hmm.
thinner on top, even though it mixes, at least with the thinner at the bottom, you're guaranteed that the thinner will mix through the paint rather than the other way around.
fair. But I let mine bubble real good.
You bubble it like
I bubble that thing proper.
Mm.
till most of it is like out. Out here.
And then sometimes it's just you just have too much pressure. And just you make a mess and it just kind of explodes. And but you have to because I put in spray booth and then it's messy and there's like, I should take the kit out so it doesn't get
well.
onto the kit. And then I'll come back and then I'll just test her out and then she's good to go. And
Okay, so can I ask?
yes,
Your airbrush there,
yes.
is it a fancy one? Is it a name brand, or is it where did you purchase that?
I purchased this one.
Mm.
I think this could have been from Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
$40 reduce, and it came with 2 needles at a .03 or 5
In there already?
in there already.
40 did you reduce?
40, yeah, man, just 40 of them.
$40.
Yeah, so she's not expensive. She doesn't have a name. You can name it whatever you want, but it doesn't come with one. And it works, except depends how good you clean it, but I have to strip mine every time.
I love cleaning mine.
Yeah.
So it's like, the art of pulling everything apart.
Oh, love
and
it.
then
Field
cleaning every
strip that
single
bad
piece,
boy.
yeah.
Oh, just that, throw on some Netflix. I am a happy little camper.
Yeah, well, last time I gave her a good clean, I got a cup, filled it with Windex, let it soak in there for a bit, pulled it out, dried her up. She's good to go.
There was actually an ultrasonic cleaner that was spotted at Aldi, and I think everyone here at this table bought one.
Yep. I've got one. It's pretty good.
I think I've used it once.
Ultrasonic cleaner.
I don't even put that thing back on.
Yeah, look. Yeah, but
That's fine.
but paint. So paint gets into like this part where you pull the trigger down, because like if you hold it up and it just runs back down.
Yeah.
But then I guess it gets stopped by this guy here.
But I never put it back.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, but
Is that a double action or a single action?
Double.
Double? Okay.
Yeah.
Nani? What does that mean?
Oh, okay. Okay. Double action is like you have to, one action is to press it down
Oh yeah.
and pull it back. That's like,
Yeah.
but single action is like the moment you,
You push it down.
Touch
that's
that bad
that's
boy.
a dangerous sport, isn't it?
yeah, well,
Yeah, so double action, you can actually control the air pressure
yeah.
with
So you can go
that's what I do.
slow it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just
Yeah.
yeah.
Bit of double action
Yeah,
action.
I got double action.
Yeah.
And then was what I originally got another one, but it had the paint pot underneath. And then that was just an inconvenience and just didn't really work properly, and I was not having a good time.
The suction feed.
Yeah, that didn't work until this, but
Does it
then
make
this
a
one I had to learn to not turn
Does it
sideways.
make a difference?
Gravity is better.
It works every time.
Your gravity. What about the ones to the side? I've seen ones to the side. Is that just like the oldest
They're
style?
the suction feed. One advantage of them is you can fill it with a lot of paint. Whereas the gravity feed one, you've only got a certain amount.
So if
for
one was
yourself.
to say buy a 132 scale Liberator, you're gonna need like one of them because that's a lot
or
of
just
plastic.
go rattle can.
Yeah, but say if you had a pre-mixed color, like the Merkava was a mix. I made look. You don't make the mix in. You wouldn't make the mix in here. You'd have to mix it in like a clean paint pot. So you have more of it, so you could keep pulling. So that way your whole thing's even.
And you can just mix it in the jar and keep it. Just change the lid and use it for next time.
Yeah, but then you have to make a lot of it. So you do your ratio. It's like 1 part, 2 part, whatever. Put it in like a clean, like an old Tamiya jar.
Right.
And then you'd shake that up, and then you pour it into the airbrush and thin it, and then paint it.
So as an armor builder,
Yeah.
primarily, I am. You make up your own mixture for tracks
Yeah.
because you're using that. You go through that like a bad boy. Like I don't want to be using black, brick red, and all the rest of it. So yeah. So all right. Good little tips there.
Yeah. Oh, as far as any other tips go, what?
Well, I was just thinking we probably forgot this, but when you do put things together, there's going to be some gaps, right? There are companies, there are modeling companies where the fits don't go as well.
Really?
Yep. So you'll probably need to fill it with something, all right? And it's called a putty, right? The ones that we use, well, the ones that I use is Tamiya putty. And this is just a filler, basically, to fill those gaps or seam lines. And once it sets, once you applied it, and once it sets, you can then sand it as well. And that'll get rid of your seam lines, especially when you got fuselages that are put together and there's this line there. And, you know, sometimes there's going to be a gap. So you use this Tamiya putty to fill it. Then you sand it. So when you do paint, those seam lines will not be there.
Yeah, but that's one to wear with gloves because they don't come off your fingers easy at all.
Yeah, that's like
they're tough.
Yep.
They're not fun to clean.
You can also thin them with a Mr. Hobby leveling thinner.
Yeah.
You can actually turn them into a liquid viscosity.
Yeah.
And you can just, run them down. You can also dip a cotton tip, and run it along the seam lines as well. But yeah, it's something we forgot to talk about.
Yes.
Putty.
Very important. I use this stuff because you could use, instead of
Yeah.
using the chemical stuff, this
Yep.
is wet cotton bud with just water. Yeah, so it's more of a water base rather than
Yeah.
that being more of a alcohol base. You want to call it?
What's great about that is there are models where when you put the wings together, there's a gap between the fuselage and the wing. So you get one of those things. You put putty over that gap. And
Yep.
you just use the water and a cotton tip or a cotton bud to smoothen it out, and shoot.
You flick it off with your nails. You go,
Once
so
it's
satisfying.
once it dries, you can just sand it, and she's ready for priming or paint.
Well, that actually brings us to part 2 of that. I just thought of. So you fill it or you sand the fuselage. It'll sand off the lines that
Yep.
go around as well. So you are going to need the panel line
Panaline. Oh, the scriber.
scriber. That's the
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Well, once you start sanding, right, you're going to be missing. You're going to be sanding some details as well. So
Detail.
if there is a panel line that actually goes across the fuselage, you're going to have to rescribe that,
Do you have
which
to
is
do-
a pain in the ass to
Do you
do.
have to?
I really hate it. Well, you don't have to.
It's not a real plane, you know.
No, you don't have to. But
the panel lines I can do, but it also has rivets. So also with the panel line scriber, you're
Yep.
going to need one of your little.
We have one. We have one on the
We,
table.
we
don't
do have
yeah.
one.
So if
Fancy
you're a
one.
bit more advanced and you really want to go to town with it, you don't want to destroy some of the details from sanding.
Yep.
Then you can get a riveter like this.
Think of a pizza cutter with.
Yeah, it's a pizza
spikes.
cutter with spikes, and that just allows you to create rivets.
But they come in all the different scales.
Yeah, this one's a
Yeah.
148. I think this one's called a Rosie the Riveter.
a
It's
fancy
it's
name.
pretty good.
As in the poster.
But yeah, look, as a beginner though, you don't really need these at the moment.
Oh well, I didn't touch that until I got onto the Japanese plane.
There you go. So
So you got one.
This is the one I used.
You got a fancy one.
Oh, I don't know.
I got like a Hobby Boss plastic one. It's like, ugh. Anyway.
See, but say you've painted, you've done it all. You're like, rattle cans, that was easy cleanup. Just get some newspaper and then you're
Yes.
done. You just spray on that and you're
Yep.
done. Chuck it out. And then you're like, oh, look, I'm going to go airbrush now. And then you've airbrushed and you're like, no, I've got a mess. What am I going to do? Cleaning time.
Oh,
Time to
dear.
clean. It's that thing you hated to do as a child and then spent the rest of your life doing all day, every day. So cleaning, airbrush. There is so many ways you can do it.
well, you're talking about in between colors or at the end of the day when
all
you
of it all, because all of it. So in between color. See, that's for me is the inconvenience of airbrushing is the in between colors. Unless I'm going from like any color into black, I don't really care.
Yep.
But then when I'm going up to something lighter, it's like, I gotta pull this guy apart, and then I'll get this lad over here, the Mr. Tool Cleaner. Turns out 400 isn't special. That's just how big the bottle is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, what's special about this one? It's just the side of the bottle. That's all. And then I would pour him into this guy, and then I would just spray the whole thing out. So it would go all the way through. And then, first I empty my paint back into my paint pot.
Yep.
And then I'll pour a little bit of this guy in there, swirl him around, give him a wipe. And then I'll pour it in again, and then empty the whole thing out. And then if there's anything left, we go back and clean it with like paper towel.
Aha.
And then, because there was a long time where I got like a pasta sauce jar, and I would just pour everything back into that, and I've still got it, and it just sits there, and man, that thing, look, it's got like it's a pasta sauce jar, like, so the thing's like big, but then like
Yeah.
at least like a quarter of the thing is just like paint,
$50 to drink it.
and it looks like $2. I'll do it for $2.
and then for free.
But the whole thing looks like the Surface Jupiter, you know? Now it's like all
Yeah.
swirly and all that, and looks there. And then the rest of it's there's a lot of Windex in there. There's a lot of tool cleaner in there, and then man, the thing's like nearly full. And then that thing's
Horrible.
pretty rank. But that's how I cleaned for the longest time, because I'm like, where am I going to put all this stuff? What do I do? I'm like, I don't know. Do I just
Plants
pour it down
drink
the sink?
Plants drink it.
Yeah.
I'm green, man. There you go, lovely plants. Either way.
Well, look, I just keep mine in a pasta bottle. So, but then that's in between colors, and then same for. Well, look, the way I clean it in between colors apparently isn't good enough for long uses, because I'll go back to spray and then my trigger thing gets stuck.
Sticky.
It gets sticky, and then
Sticky
you have to
trigger.
pull everything out again. And then the last time I went to paint, you'll see it in the build video coming out, you know, when I get there, about this Phantom. I was working on the cockpit, and and then everything was stuck, and then that's when I had to soak it in Windex. But then it's just like, Windex is far cheaper to soak the whole thing in. Otherwise, I'm soaking it in this.
Yeah, man.
This costs too much to do a soak.
Okay, so this is what I do. I get like a squeeze bottle from somewhere, eBay, or just use. I think someone had like a thinner that you could squeeze, like little drops. I fill that with IPA, and what I do is, well, you've taken it apart, but basically I drop a few drops into the trigger bit, into there, and then I drop into the actual thing, and then like unscrew the back and just pull the needle out and in, out and in.
You're right.
And make it go like.
Because look, you can't see it.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, but look, this is after clean. Look, I cleaned it after my last use.
Oh, that's
like,
killing my eyeballs.
and then look, but I've still got paint.
How do you clean that? That is not.
Well, no,
that's
because
not
I've
clean.
cleaned out the front. I didn't clean through the back. You know how like
Yeah.
when you lift
Just
it,
be
tips.
careful how you
Just-
point that.
you're
You'll
pointing
bust the
it.
point.
You're gonna bend that needle. Oh,
Yeah. So this, but look, also on the topic of needles, I got off of the Great Wide Web
Yeah.
0.02 needle because I needed the fidelity to get really thin lines.
Right.
So there's also that, because otherwise it's incredibly cheaper on eBay. eBay's my friend. I like him. Yeah, but look, cleaning it.
Do you though?
Well, this part's clean. This part's not.
Well,
So look. Next time I go to airbrush,
no one on
all
the
I-
internet can see. Just
Yeah, look, you can't see. It's just there's paint.
it's barbecue sauce on that, man.
Yeah. So then, but the next time I go, I just dip it into this bottle
Yeah.
of tool cleaner, and then I just get paper towel and and it comes straight off.
Righto.
So I just do that every time before I
you?
start. Well,
Right now?
no.
It's doing my head in.
So how do you clean yours?
Well, not like that. Clearly. Well,
Yeah, but
okay.
you
In between,
spend more time cleaning than building, don't you?
it's therapy. So what I do is in between the colors, right? Tip it back into the contents back into the jar. Put that away. Bosh. Then you spray a couple of toots of Windex in there, into the cup, and then I spray it into the trigger bit, and then I get like a hobby brush from Bunnings. They're like about yay long, a square chisel edge, and you basically just swirl that inside the cup, and then you swirl it about the trigger bit, and then you spread all that out, and then you just tip water in there, and that's it.
Yeah.
So then, if you pulled out your needle today,
Yep.
it's gonna be pristine.
Yep.
Sure.
You're very sure.
When using lacquers, I just pour thinner, and I'll just get a paintbrush and swirl it around. The good thing with these lacquers is they don't clog up, and they clean really easily. So I just put a bit of thinner in there, clean it, spray it, and then I'll just release the needle, so that when I use it again, it's not going to get stuck in there.
Ooh.
But once I've got the thinner in there, I get the needle.
That's
and
brilliant.
I just push it in and out.
Yeah.
It releases all the paint that's
Bit in
stuck
and out
on
action.
needle. Keep on spraying it until there is no paint residue left, and then when I'm done, I just release the needle just a little bit so it doesn't get stuck.
That's a top tip. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's
But
brilliant.
these lacquers are very easy to clean. They don't clog up your airbrush. So yeah.
See, but
Here we go.
look, man, I can just clean it again the next time I use it, and we'll be fine. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Clean it now, clean it later. Paint is paint. It's all acrylic, so it doesn't matter.
I mean,
Comes up with water.
I was clean at the beginning of every session anyway.
Yeah, I clean it at the
When I
beginning.
know today's the day I'm going to paint something.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. That's
But-
like, why do I have to put the dishes away if I'm just going to use the same plate again?
Well,
Why do I
wash
have to
them.
make my bed if I'm just going to get back in my bed?
Right.
Why do I have to clean the airbrush if I'm just going to clean it at the start of the next time?
Why clean your underwear if you know you're going to wear them again?
Yeah, don't.
Attaboy.
The thing is, I actually don't clean my airbrush to the point where I'm pulling it apart. I only do that once every, after each build. But after I use it, I don't pull it apart and clean it. I just put some thinner in there, spray it, and that's it.
What are you
Done.
me for?
Because you field strip your thing every time, all the time, just for fun. all the time.
He does it like a military style.
Do you do it blindfolded?
No, I'll stab myself. No, don't, please. You're going to bend your needle. I don't want to look. This is going to end in tears. This is going to end in tears.
Look, I've only bent the needle one time, but I think it could be from the way that I thin the paint, sticking your finger there. I don't know, maybe. When you put your finger at the front to block the nozzle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe my needle was sticking too far out.
Technically, it shouldn't.
Well,
I think that's the only thing that when you buy needles offline, like online, not for that particular thing. Some may go out.
Yeah, but that was the one that came with it. But look, I have an older older airbrush, but this front nozzle would screw off, so it was easy to clean. Whereas this one, because all the paint gunk and stuff that gets in there, you have to pull back the needle and then clean it, or just take the needle out. But if you're doing in between colors, I'm not pulling the whole thing apart. I'm just gonna try to clean it.
I bought those little brushes. I bought those little things. You could just.
I'd like to finish a kit in my lifetime. Ideally on the same day that I started
finishing's
painting
overrated.
So you've got your way. Aqua's got your way. His way.
Clearly mine. Well, clearly yours is the best then, Jeff. Hey?
Yeah, because you actually finish kits.
Oh well,
I'm
sometimes
taking
I
it all
do.
on board.
Yeah. So you can tackle cleaning your airbrush in different ways, but at the end of the day, it'll all be the same. It'll be ready
Aerosol
for
cans. Don't have to clean the airbrush.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
you just put it on newspaper and throw it away. Look, I used to have a drawer of newspaper, and then that's what I would. That's how I'd paint. Just,
Local newspaper.
Yeah, just
Free.
Yeah, free, easy. It was great. See, but the moral of the story being, oh no, I can't get into modeling. It's too hard. It's too expensive. That sounds like excuses. We just gave you like this whole entire, we gave you so many reasons why you should. We will enable you. We support you. You should do it.
Yeah, man.
We believe in you. We believe you can spend money. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Worst
look,
things.
it's
Worst ways to
pretty.
spend money.
There are ways you can get into it. There
Absolutely.
could be, if you're in a tight space, or if you just like
Or you could buy
dabbling.
Gundam kits where you don't actually paint at all.
Yeah, and then all you need for that is snips and sanding. There's no glue. There's no nothing. No putty. No filling. No nothing at all.
Nope.
It just it's like Lego.
I have to
but
buy
with-
those pens.
That you don't even have to do that.
Don't have to do it.
You don't have to do because it's already the sprue's in the right color. Like you don't have to paint anything. Then your next step would be getting the Gundam markers.
Yeah.
But then I see people decanter those as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's a whole.
I think people decanter hairspray for hairspray techniques.
Oh, look,
for chipping.
I've only done the hairspray technique once on like this toy from Kmart and turned out good. I like the method.
Toy from Kmart.
Yeah, it was a pew pew. You go, pew.
Oh right.
It was like a blaster. It was a space blaster, and it was white. I saw it on one of these other guys' YouTube channels, and I was like, you know what? I have Kmart. I will try it out, and I did it. And then I did it looked pretty cool. It turned out alright.
Can I hijack the conversation for a second? Nerf has actually brought out the Aliens gun.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I want one. That's it. That's what I wanted to
Paint
say.
that up and weather.
Right, it's even got a counter thing, and
Yeah, it has it. It's a great looking toy.
here in Australia it costed like 400.
Yeah, because I remember for the pre-order about a year ago, I sent it to you guys, and it was a crazy amount of money. Back when we were playing Aliens, the fire team.
Yes, they were.
And then Nerf announced it, and I was like, "That's a crazy amount of money," but it has everything. It looks just like it.
Yep.
And, same. Yep.
Yep.
It's great.
Does it sound like it though?
It's got some
I think it plays
electronic
sounds.
things.
I love the sound of that.
The grenade launcher.
Yeah. No, just the way the gun sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pulse rifle. That's what it is.
Mr. Savage bought one. He was so excited to get it.
Yeah, but I think he built one as well. Someone built. There was one channel I watched, and they built it because it's based off of some other gun.
A Thompson.
Yeah, and then they were just adding parts to it, and then it's like,
Yeah.
here, look, same.
Anyway, I just thought I'd drop that in. Considering you're talking about your pew from Kmart, I thought.
Yeah, but what, you got lazy 400 just to...
No, I'd buy
Lazy
that.
400.
Just a lazy 400.
No, my car's decided. You know what? That money you had, Greg, I'd much rather have it instead.
Yeah, just say no. I'll buy another. You did, but whatever. Just now that one wants money as well. Hey,
cars.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, so moving on. We've considered all the things that we needed for the model. Now, moving on to your next model, like what's the routine? Do you guys already have one already in mind? Have you bought another kit, or is it like I'm going to build one, go into a model shop and buy another one, or do you have like what's going on? Like, What's the routine? Do
Why-
you do a mojo build, or do you go from serious build, then mojo build?
Well, look, as far as being a beginner, everything's a mojo build because
Everything's fun.
everything's fun and exciting, and you're like, wow, I'm having a great time. This is nice. And then, well, because what you want the challenge. So then that's when you
Yeah.
start to grow. That's when you start to get more skills because you don't just want easy all the time. Like you get to the point where you want easy for a break because you've just challenged yourself too often, too much.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you stop growing, and then like, well, where's the fun part, in the challenge or in the building? Like just the experience of making a
And
kit.
trying to get better.
Am I going to have as much of a fun time making a shake and bake compared to a kit that I have to do PE, resin, filling, sanding, everything?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a trick question because the answer is yes to both.
Right.
But
So for me, once I do finish a build, I sort of don't want to touch a model kit after that. And if I do, it'll be a mojo build where I'll build something quick just to get that mojo back. But straight after a very detailed build, I sort of want to take a break for a little bit. Yeah, but then I'll be sitting there watching tally or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I want to build something. It doesn't have to be too technical, but just to build something out of the bat, just to get your mojo back. So
Right.
that's how it works for me.
And what can constitute a mojo build?
Just
Like-
a simple kit. There's
Straight out of the box.
yeah, Edward
Don't have to
weekend
throw
kits.
resin, PE into it.
Mm,
Don't know aftermarket.
yeah,
Extra decals.
yeah.
Gun barrels.
Or sometimes I'll just get a
Wait
cockpit.
for it.
and I'll
Wait
just work
for
on
it.
that.
There
and
it is.
That's it.
There it is.
Yeah. And that turns into not
Wait
just a
for
mojo
it.
build
Wait for
Yeah.
it.
and
Can't help yourself.
photo etch time, and all of a sudden it's not a mojo build anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep it as a mojo build. So I've got all these.
But resin is just as fun for you.
It is, but it can be also mentally draining.
Because for you, like the actual result at the end
Mm.
of painting up a resin kit and putting it in,
Yep.
that is part of the mojo. Because it's like, hey, wow, that cockpit's pretty
it's
special.
Yeah.
It killed me, but it's,
Yeah. The thing with
I'm gonna need a
resin
mojo
is
build after a mojo build.
it's quite detailed, and you have to sort of really focus on it.
Yeah.
And after doing that to a certain model, I don't really want to do that again. So I'll just grab something out of the stash.
see, but then why don't
Something
you just
quick.
build a tank?
Well, yeah. You can build a tank.
I've seen
or
you
whatever.
build one.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the Sherman that I'm still building. What else?
I
The
thought you
Stug.
have.
Yeah. So I don't. Mojo build isn't necessarily completing a kit. Sometimes I'll just go into a stash, find something easy.
Don't enable him.
Well,
Thanks, man.
You can't say those are dangerous
Thanks,
words.
man.
it's not enable. He does it anyway.
Oh, yeah, true. True.
So
Actually,
yeah.
One of the first times where we started talking about you doing a tank thing, I thought, he's a plane guy. Hey, Jeff, why don't you build a tank? This should be funny. Like, under my breath, I'd be like, okay, the kind of trick this out is going to be awful. It's like, hey guys, I finished my tank and it only took me a week. And then, it's going to be horrible. Wait for it, guys. We'll get to say, Jeff can't build. And then he showed me a photo. I was like, get stuffed. Like,
Yeah.
he went turret casting. He went full on. I was
Just
like,
couldn't help himself.
Dang.
could he?
Yeah, I couldn't
man.
help myself.
I was like, if that's your first tank?
But I did go into one of the greatest resources for tanks, which is YouTube.
Yeah.
And just copy the techniques. And that was that.
But see, that's how did it feel? Like you being a plane guy doing your
Mm.
first thing and you went all out like cast
The thing is, I don't know because
textures and
I'm not like you guys say, I'm not a tank guy. You guys are, a judge of tanks.
Nah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we do tanks because we're lazy?
Well, we're lazy to a degree, but then we have to weather those things, and weathering a tank to make it look like a tank.
Yeah, but then you also
It's
weather
more-
a plane.
Yeah, but what can you do to weather a plane? Really, just exhaust striping and
We could just all do Japanese planes.
oh,
They're incredibly
that's-
incredibly weathered.
yeah. I think that will just open a different Pandora's box of one heck of a debate going.
Mm.
What's more technically difficult, doing a tank, full on tank with weathering, versus doing a plane with weathering? Because a tank, you also have to consider crew, the stowage, the mud textures, and all the rest of it. A plane, you could just do wheels down, no crew, but then you've wired the engine, you've wired the brake lines.
Yeah, there's certain intricacies.
Yeah, but then you can also wire tanks that have like the
it's an entire
command-
debate.
Yeah.
So help yourself, guys, to the comment down below. Fight amongst yourselves. Go crazy.
Here, look, I'll give you something. Are you ready? Planes get dirty.
Oh, I agreed.
Yeah. And then, because I see it, people are like, oh, there's this picture. See the underbelly of this plane, it's dirty. And then someone will be like, yeah, but you're just cherry picking, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, yeah, but there is a photo of it, so it does happen. So I will base every single plane that I ever make off of that one picture.
Yeah, technically,
And they'll
yeah.
all
If
be
it
that
exists,
dirty.
it's legit.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're like, oh, yeah, but it's out on if it's on a carrier, and then the sea, and the salty air,
Right.
and the blah, 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 and the paint.
It's
And then
been it's been in the ocean for 6 months.
yeah, but then they'll be like,
a
yeah,
year.
but then they clean it, and they maintain it, and they repair, and they repaint. So
Yeah.
I'll just say it's always just before they've repainted.
Yeah.
That's all. Except then there's someone that's like, I will only do it when it's freshly painted. No, the whole
Fair
thing's
enough.
been maintained all the time.
It's fine. You can have it like a museum piece, like after its tour, like after the Vietnam War. Like this, that's how it is in the museum. Or you can go in the middle of the Vietnam War, where it's like landed just long enough for it to be rearmed and refueled, and back in the skies you go, buddy.
But then,
Yeah.
is someone always cleaning passenger airlines, like their planes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have
Because they always look so shiny from afar. They always look so clean.
I think there is a crew that actually has to clean them.
That would suck.
It wouldn't be a
probably.
spray.
Spray and wipe the whole thing.
It'd be a
Little
fire
Windex.
truck with a hose.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, 'cause those
But
things
no
are
one's
huge.
actually sees the bottom of. I mean, if someone can point us out.
Well,
I'm
because
sure,
like, well,
sure
when you
Google Image
walk
can-
into the plane, like say going to Malaysia, you walk in and I don't know when the carriageway thingy, and you get to see like around the door
Mm.
and all their rivets, and they're all painted with this like really thick paint over the top of it. Like, you do have rivets. There they are. I found them. And then, but it looks clean enough. And then from afar, it looks clean enough. I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
we'll have footage of it by the time this podcast comes out.
Yeah, they'll be like, well, let me show you.
Well, there you go.
We'll cut it in. We'll go. This is it. This is how they are.
Well, no, that's just me. That means I just have to go find it. Close up of.
Not a boy. Right there.
Shouldn't have brought it up.
So, have we covered the basics?
I think so.
I think we have.
I think so. So we've covered the kids.
Tweezer, cutting utensil, sanding
Yep.
utensil,
Painting utensils.
painting utensil of your choosing,
of your choosing.
depending on like how
Thinners,
hectic you want it to be.
Putty, paints.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can do it all for like $100, and then half of that gets that all gets reused anyway. You just need a new kit,
Yeah.
and then you could just keep buying $30 kits, and then there you go. You don't have to spend lots of money
Yeah.
unless you keep listening to us or anyone else, and then next thing you know, you're
Get
like,
peer pressured into something.
yeah. Look, so if you just, we're just building character. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't give in, and you'll become better.
Pretty much. I think that's it.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's simple enough. Just come on, do it. Hang out, have fun. I swear you'll like it, unless you don't. And then
Actually, on that note, here at Andrew's Hobbies, they have Nerdageddon? Nerdvana. Right? Where you basically come in, check the Andrew's website for details, where people will be coming in and it's just a wall-to-wall build day. So we might turn up to one every now and again, depending on our availabilities. Come on down, meet some of the higher-ups, the in-betweens, and us.
Yeah, just have fun. Yeah.
Oh,
at the
that
bottom.
too.
And
Yeah.
just have fun.
Yeah, just have fun.
And
Just have fun.
but then say you walk into Andrews, you know what you might find? That kit
oh, that.
and
yeah.
those paints.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you know what? You have to say secret words. So by this time in the podcast, because I completely forgot about putting it at the start, you would
Right.
have heard me saying there's going to be a special word later to get free stuff. And now this is that time where we have the free word, like the word for the free stuff. And are you ready for the
Thank
for the
you for
word?
sticking with us.
Yeah, thanks for hanging around.
Yeah, man.
It's great. It's nice chat. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't, you can just watch it again. That's fine.
If you've got any questions, just send us a message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
If you say
we'll
that
get back to
our methods are wrong, I'll be like, well, we gave you like 5, so pick
Yeah.
which one of them was wrong. And if it was all of them, like, well, how do you do? And then
And we're all learning as well.
Correct.
You never stop learning as a modeler. So
No.
unless you choose to,
yeah, unless you think you know everything.
and then you're that guy. So the
you're that
special
guy.
word. Are you ready for it?
Have you remembered it?
Yeah.
There it is.
We forgot.
Oh, hang on. Here it is.
Hamburger.
It'll be on screen.
Yeah.
Hamburger.
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 Yeah.
So come to Andrew's hobbies and just say the
Mention
word.
that word.
Mention
Yeah,
that
say
word.
that word.
Hear it again.
Yeah.
Ham.
Ham.
Bur.
Burger.
Ger. I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
First in, best dressed.
And you get
And what is
this
that
kit,
secret word? Yep.
and you get these 2 rattle cans.
So basically, on us.
Yeah.
It's on us.
All you have to do, get yourself something to cut, and something to sand, and then get yourself a glue.
There it is, right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So be the first.
First in, best dressed.
Don't be that guy that's like, look, you know, and then it's gone. And then you know what? You're gonna have to buy it yourself with your own money.
Yeah.
Now's the time to save money. You know
Yeah.
how expensive petrol is?
Right?
Too much. $2 too much.
$2 too much. There it is.
So 2023 is going to be a big year because
Yeah.
you know
It'll be a
why?
massive year.
You know why? We're going to actually build a kit and finish a kit. We got stuff coming up where
Got
we might,
videos.
you know, you might see us do those things.
Do we have to finish.
Yeah.
You have to finish your kit.
Or not put anything in the box.
Do a whole year of no back in the box.
Yeah, no back in a box.
No, it'll just be
Oh, come
out.
on, man.
It'll just be out. It won't be back in the
It'll
box.
just be left on the
out.
side of the box.
Come
Yeah,
on,
a new
man.
Brainerd. It'll be good. We got build
Yeah.
videos coming out.
Build videos. We
Um,
want to take this little thing of ours onto the road.
Yeah,
maybe.
and then you'll see us at Expo this year. That's coming up. That's 6 months away. So
Oh
get ready
my
to
goodness,
your
there is
Expo
Expo.
build. 6 months. It's already been 6 months. We've done not a lot, not as much as I would have liked to have done.
Yeah, we'll be doing road trips as well.
Heaps in 6 months, man.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can crunch.
Crash and burn. Watch this.
Yeah, burn out. So
We're mad.
Stick around, and
Stick around, yeah.
I swear you'll have a good time.
All right.
It'll be
Well,
good.
cheers, guys. See you next time.
See ya. Till next time.
Bye.
See you later. Love you. Bye.